gigantic number, a number in the past that was the population of our country, a number that represents an estimate of how many people smoke worldwide. Another number, 6.5. This represents how many seconds there are in between deaths of current or past smokers. The fight against smoking is all over. Why is something legal when it can lead to the second highest cause of death? 40% of the people in this class have a family member who smokes cigarettes, and I guarantee you that 100% of this class, so everybody knows an acquaintance, even if they've only met him once, that smoked a cigarette before, or currently does. Personally, I have 2 uncles that have had lung cancer. Both of them survived, and 70% of my extended family is currently a smoker or has been a smoker before. And the closest thing that affects me is my dad and my mom both smoke cigarettes, and my dad's still doing about a pack a day. So in my head, all I think is smoking plus dad equals cancer of some sort. My dad's been smoking for probably like 30 years total, about 10 years and he quit, and then 20 more years. So he's definitely been doing it for the main chunk of his life. I'm going to talk about, obviously, why I think smoking is bad and why it should be illegal, and just to raise more awareness, like you guys see already in the news and in current events and stuff like that. And so I'm going to talk about the statistics of smoking, the effects on your health, how secondhand smoke can affect you, and the benefits of smoking, and how we can survive without smoking, even though they have those benefits. Alright, so cancer.org, which is the leading website for cancer, for facts about cancer, all types, says that smoking cigarettes kills more Americans than alcohol, car accidents, suicide, AIDS, homicide, and illegal drugs combined. 30% of deaths by cancer are caused by smoking cigarettes, and 87% of lung cancers are caused by smoking cigarettes. But cancer is only half the cigarette-related deaths in the world. Obviously, the other ones are heart disease, bronchitis, emphysema, stroke, and birth complications for women, obviously. So obviously, cancer is not the only thing you get from smoking cigarettes. There's tons of other diseases you can get from it as well. And the statistics that I read said that 50% of the time that you get a cancer from smoking cigarettes, not only will you probably come back, but you have a 50% chance of probably dying if you get it twice. So, and out of the 1.3 billion people that smoke cigarettes, about half of those are in America, and 443,000 Americans die every year because of smoking, and 50,000 of those deaths are from secondhand smoke. Something that people think when you talk about illegalizing cigarettes is how will our economy survive? Because obviously tobacco companies bring in billions of dollars every year. There's plenty of them. Cigarettes are about $7, $8 a pack right now. So a lot of money comes in from cigarettes, and everybody thinks that's a big deal. And I mean, yeah, we bring in billions of dollars, but also people dying, people being in the hospital, people having cancer, people being admitted in the emergency room, all that costs money too. So not to say that like those people aren't important and we're not trying to save their lives. However, if cigarettes weren't around, there'd be so many less cancer patients, there'd be a lot less lung cancer especially, and I mean there'd be a lot less deaths as well. One statistic I looked at said that in 2010, 2 million more people will die than, or 2015, sorry, 2 million more people will die then from smoking than now. So the number is ever increasing, the number of smokers is ever increasing, even though our awareness and our knowledge of what smoking cigarettes does to you is getting greater and greater. Other health risks that do not result in death are all of the different diseases that you can get that I said before. So emphysema, strokes, chronic bronchitis, heart attacks, and then non-fatal cancers, obviously, if you can beat them or if they just keep coming back and forth. And then something that's not as bad, but still is kind of bad, is males will age 13.2 years, like in their face and in like the way that their body is and like the way they breathe. And then females will age 14.3 years if they smoke cigarettes continuously. So everybody says it makes you look younger in the short run. Well, there's a lot of short run benefits, but in the long run, there's zero. So, and then health benefits to not smoking. If you quit before you're 50, you have a way better chance of living past 60. And if you quit before 40, you have a way better chance of not dying from them. They reduce all the risks of everything above, emphysema, strokes, etc. you'll have a better respiratory system. I know for a fact that when I'm out with my dad doing whatever, like moving stuff, or like my dad's in a band, so he has to put his amp in the back of his car. My dad can't even do that himself anymore just because he gets so beat from it, and after he does it, he has to sit down and like take a break and stuff, which is something that I just look at and I'm just like, man, that's crazy, because I could never do cigarettes. Secondhand smoking is actually a lot bigger deal than I even expected. Secondhand smoking obviously is if you're in a room, in a car, in a public place, and you inhale somebody's smoke that they breathed out, or just from the cigarette in general. Secondhand smoking is obviously, it's worst at work, home, and in the car, but it can happen pretty much anywhere that someone can smoke. A lot of states are like putting in laws that can take away from smoking in public places, so then like secondhand smoke isn't as prevalent and keeps the environment cleaner and whatnot. However, people are still doing it. It's not uncommon to see people smoking right next to a building, even though you're supposed to be a certain distance away. And here's some stats of secondhand smoking deaths. 46,000 heart disease deaths come from being a second smoker, so not even being smoking, just from being in the area. 3,400 lung cancer deaths in non-smoking adults that live with a smoker. Children whose parents smoke increase their heart problems, their asthma, their likeliness of developing any one of the diseases mentioned before. And then finally, it affects blood circulation and can cause the same things as smoking if it happens too much. If you're around a person that's smoking a pack a day and you live in close quarters with them, aka like an apartment or the same room even, the chances of you developing the same diseases as if you were a smoker are the exact same. It doesn't change at all because you're doing the same thing. You're breathing it in and breathing it out. And I don't know about you guys, but if I'm walking down the street and somebody's smoking a cigarette and behind them, I like sprint in front of them just because I feel like I'm going to get a disease right then and there. So, although there are a lot of disadvantages of smoking, there are a few benefits. A lot of money is brought in, like I said before, from smoking cigarettes. America and the whole world makes a lot of money from smoking them. To the people that smoke them, they're enjoyable, they relieve stress, they help you lose weight, they can help you focus, they can prevent withdrawals and depression, and they can burn calories. However, all those ones just mentioned are all short-term, and they all have an alternative. All these benefits have alternatives to them, but on the opposite spectrum of it, you don't have an alternative to dying or getting cancer. If you get cancer or you die, you can't reverse that, because there's not really a cure to cancer like yet. So, in short, benefits, yeah, there's some of them, and it'd definitely be a problem. At first for the economy if you illegalize them, but I think it's more important to be saving lives and worrying about how much GDP we make per year. And so, in conclusion, I just want to share kind of a little story, a personal story about mine. I've always looked up to my dad, and he's been my role model for forever. He took me to all my soccer games. When I was out of line, he made sure I was in line. He taught me how to cook my first steak. He cooks my favorite steak every time I come home from college. So he's the best dad ever. Obviously, like every son looks up to their father. And she was talking about going to the first basketball game with his dad. Same thing with me. My dad bought me my first soccer ball, took me to my first soccer game. Every first thing I do is with my dad. I tell him everything. And so I look up to him. But when I see him smoking, it's like a weakness. And to look at your role model and think that they have a weakness, it's a problem. And I can't tell you how many times I've tried to help my dad quit smoking and how many times he's continued. And it's one of those things that you just look at it and you're just like, man, what does it take? And if I could wish for anything, I want him to stop smoking. And so just, if you're having problems thinking about why it should be legal or why it should be illegal, or if you disagree with any of the statistics I say, it's one of those things when if you look at somebody you care about and they're suffering from this, like I said before, in my head it's like, my dad keeps smoking cigarettes, he's going to die, not because he's old, not because like some freak accident happens, he's going to die from smoking cigarettes. And that's something I think about every single day. So, I think we should outlaw them, and